Hello and welcome to the first Game Nexus hardware review. What you see in front of you is the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which was Nintendo's second ever console here in the US, which was the system that came after the popular Nintendo Entertainment System. Super Nintendo had quite a few awesome games, all with the 16-bit format, brilliant graphics, awesome gameplay. But have you ever wanted to play all your classic Nintendo games on your Super Nintendo? Well, our good friends at Innovation actually have done something to make this a possibility. What you see in front of you right now is the Super 8 converter. On the bottom is a slot for Super Nintendo cartridges, in the middle is a slot for Nintendo cartridges, and that one covered up on the top is for Famicom cartridges, which are the Japanese format in Nintendo. This adapter here fits right into the Super Nintendo and allows us to play all our classic NES and Famicom games right on it. Let me show you how that works here. You just have to, of course, switch off the Super Nintendo, pop out the cartridge, take the Super 8 converter, place it into the cartridge slot. Take a look back here, there's just a little bit of wiring to do. Just pull out our AV adapter for our Super Nintendo, take the one from the Super 8 and plug it right back here where the Super Nintendo one was. Then take the one from the Super Nintendo, plug it into the Super 8, and now you're all ready to go and play all your classic Nintendo games. There's a little spot here for a RF adapter, but this system simply just would not work well with an RF adapter. It uses your standard Super Nintendo cartridge. Of course, for the Super Nintendo games, you could just plug it right into there. And all you have to do is play your Nintendo games is take your Nintendo cartridge here, plug it right into the Super 8 converter, turn the system on, and you'll see on the screen here we have a fancy menu, which of course you see your Super 8 converter made by Innovation in 1995, commonly referred to as the TriStar. You have your 8 and 16-bit options showing up as the Famicom and Super Famicom controllers respectively. You just select which one you want. On the bottom, of course, it tells you that this product is not manufactured, licensed, or endorsed by Nintendo of America because they don't want to get sued. So let's select our 8-bit option here. And then it goes into one of the best games of all time on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And of course we all know that great game as Zelda 2: The Adventure Link. Of course a lot of people will deny what I say, but I think this game's awesome. Let's get right into it. I created a game earlier to make this a little bit quicker. And you notice it plays just like it does on your NES, your side-scrolling fields, your world map here. Just gonna go right through here. And this is one of the action stages. Let's just kill these little ball guys here. I just found these little ball guys really weird in this game. I honestly don't know why they chose that design, but hey, it's pretty cool. The only thing you're going to notice here is, while I'm playing, you're not going to really notice as much on this dark stage, but in those other stages, you'll notice that the background, there was these lines going through the screen. Other than that, which are just basically light lines going through the screen that really don't disturb anything. Other than that, this system seems to play the Nintendo perfectly. You'll see them more on the path here than you will anywhere else. This is one of the parts I really liked about this game, was the towns interacting with NPCs, which you simply didn't get at Zelda games at this point. The first Zelda game was more or less an action game, not any RPG elements at all, except for like getting new items. And I always like being able to go to these towns and find this Restore Life lady. You and her do something which is unmentionable inside and you get your life back. And then we're going to go over here. All these people have something fancy to say. You can talk to them, which is really cool for a game this early in the time. This is the first magic spell you'll get in the game. I wasn't trying to cut her head off there, I was just trying to talk to her, since the attack and the talk button are the same friggin' button. Jumpity jump, gonna come down and talk to the wise man here in the dark stone place. I always like jumping down like this, and it's like you're looking down because you're so tall. he's going to give us the shield magic, which protects you a little bit more than you normally would be. And then, of course, you gotta climb out of here. Since these aren't really stairs, it's just the field being pointy like that, you have to jump up them. Which was a common thing in early Nintendo games besides Castlevania, of course. And of course, we're just gonna leave the town now. And now on our world map, we're gonna go up to and get caught by enemies. But as you can see, this game's running great on the Super 8 converter. Of course, this is the original cartridge, no emulation here. As you can see, the Super 8 converter does a good job of playing the original Nintendo games on our Super Nintendo. The only problem with it is if you play a game like Killer Instinct here, put it in your Super 8 converter in the Super NES slot, turn on the system, and then you just select the 16-bit option, but then the screen with the Killer Instinct logo will come up telling you that this product will not operate when connected to the device, which makes unauthorized copies. Please refer to your instruction booklet for further information. Basically, the protection chip in the Killer Instinct cartridge thinks that the Super 8 is a ROM dumping device, which of course it is not. But then again, this really doesn't matter at all, because all we're using this device for is to play Nintendo games on our Super Nintendo, so all you have to really do is take your Killer Instinct game out of your Super 8, disconnect it, and then just simply put the game right into the system, and you won't have a problem. One of the last things I want to show you is how this thing can play Famicom games. Let's take a cartridge I got laying around here, which is Street Fighter II for NES, or Famicom. This is a cart that I got from some guy in Thailand on eBay. It's one of your infamous unlicensed versions of the game. All you gotta do here is move the flap over, put the cartridge in backwards, which is kinda weird if you ask me. Turn on the system, and then you just select the 8-bit option, but the problem is this game just simply doesn't work with the Super 8. Like a lot of unlicensed items, this isn't compatible with everything, especially an unlicensed game. So what I'm going to do here is throw in our good game, Sakaki Gake Otoko Juku. If you're a fan of the show, you can correct me on this. I'm not the best Japanese scholar here, but as you can see, just like our Zelda game back then, this game works just fine as well. Just going to show you a little bit of gameplay here. You can take a look at my, I think it was like a 7 or 8 minute video. It's one of my first YouTube videos on here if you want to see more on this game. The final thing I want to show you is the Super 8 converter box. It's really colorful. It's got all kinds of information on it. Most of it actually does make sense, unlike a lot of Chinese unlicensed console devices. This basically just shows you a diagram. And that's the packaging that they had shipped the Super 8 in. And that, of course, tells you that it's from our good friends at Innovation. And right there on the side here, it tells you what kind of games it plays, which is Super Famicom and Super NES cartridges, Nintendo cartridges, and Famicom cartridges. Well, that's the Super 8 converter. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.